Forget SUVs if you're on the hunt for a new family car, because this anti-SUV might be the right choice for you. This is the Toyota Camry Hybrid, and it's not your rideshare driver's car either. This is the fully loaded Camry SL. And now I've lived with this car for 3 months now, and here are 6 things I really like about it and 3 things I don't. Now, one of the things I like about this car is the cabin. So Toyota sell a lot of cars, they know what people want, and this is a really practical and functional cabin. So you've got easy to use buttons here on your steering wheel for some of your safety tech or to adjust your volume. But what's also great is there's actual physical dials for all your climate controls. You can turn your seat heaters on really easily, your seat ventilators, you go up and down with the fan volume. While a lot of new cars, you have to dive into the big screen, which is really fiddly and not great when you're driving, to be honest. So this is really easy just to use on the go. There's also lots of really easy to reach and usable storage options. So you've got 2 big cup holders here, you've got another big little storage bin here, big deep one here in the center, you've got ones in the doors, and you've also got your wireless charging pad, you've got a couple of USB charging ports. Everything is covered here in easy reach, and it also looks okay too. So there's some materials here, you can feel the hard stuff underneath the padding here. So it's not as thick and as luxe as some cars might have, but the faux leather's of good quality. There's no creaks or rattles for the time I've had this car. Really is, it's a really well thought out cabin, and it's what you expect from a Toyota. Another thing I like about this car is it's a Toyota. And what that means is it's going to be reliable, it's going to be cheap to own, and it's going to have great resale. For instance, this thing only costs $255 to service every 12 months or 15,000 kilometers. That's dirt cheap. No one can compete with that. And also, after you're done with it, someone's going to pay good money for this thing when you're ready to move on to a new car. Another thing to like about this Camry is the back seat room. So my seat's all the way back pretty much, and I've still got plenty of leg room. So if you've got taller teens or even adults that need to come in here, you've got lots of room, and they're going to sit here comfortably for long drives. I've also regularly have a few child seats in here, and there's plenty of room where my little guy can kick his legs and not kick the back of my seat. So that's always a win. And they have their own dedicated aircon vents, which is great for summer. Plus, a few USB charging ports for the older kids, so their devices are always switched on. Another thing that's also good is they've got decent sized windows here at the back. Plus, the panoramic sunroof lets lots of light in. So little kids don't get as car sick as they might if they can't see out the windows.
I love that this Camry gives you a bit of pampering. This SL is a bit exy, but it compensates you with lots of standard equipment. There are heated and ventilated front seats, a heated steering wheel, a 12.3-inch multimedia screen, and a digital driver display of the same size. It has comfy power adjustable faux leather wrapped seats with memory function for the driver and a power adjustable steering wheel. There is also a digital rear view mirror, which I don't particularly love, but it does provide better night and wet weather vision. There is also a bird's eye view camera which aids parking. One thing I need to mention is Toyota's aircon, which is the star of the show in an Australian summer. With it pumping out Arctic winds at a rate of knots, it can cool the car down in a matter of minutes after standing in the sun for hours. Its ventilated seats going full blast post-beach might be one of the world's greatest luxuries.
Another thing to really like about this Camry is it's a pretty sharp thing to drive, to be honest. So that the days of people thinking Toyotas are just white goods on wheels has long passed. This new generation of cars are pretty fun to drive. And look, let's be serious. We're not talking the Camry's a Porsche or a BMW 3 Series or any benchmark in its class. What we're saying is that it's actually quite fun to drive. And look, if you're lucky enough to find yourself on a country back road on a lovely Sunday afternoon, you can have a little bit of fun in the Camry. If you're on a road trip with the kids, it doesn't have to be purely getting from point A to point B. You can do it in a bit of style with a bit of panache, and I think that's what this Camry does. Part of the reason why it's a sedan, so its lower ride height compared to an SUV means that it's intrinsically a nicer car to drive because it controls its weight better. There's less lean because its suspension is shorter. Everything's a little bit more rigid because it doesn't have to cater for a really tall body. And so what that means is it keeps its weight through the corners really nice. There's no lean, and that's also benefited from really nicely well-weighted steering. and a little bit of feedback coming through the pedals and stuff, which is really nice compared to a world where in EV land where everything feels so disjointed and separate from what actually is happening in the car. This actually feels like a car you are driving, and that's a really nice feeling these days. One of the other things that's really nice about this car that I like is the safety tech actually works. A lot of new brands, let's call it, have thrown everything in the car, all that modern safety tech you want, like AEB, lane keep assist, all those acronyms that the car makers trot out. But they don't work very well. They beep and they bong at you and they're constantly harassing you. The Camry's safety tech just works really well. So it's not beeping at me constantly. It knows I'm in my lane. It's know that I might be close to the lane, but I'm not leaving it. And so it's not warning me all the time. And yeah, it'll flash up if a little symbol if I might be getting close to the speed limit or I've exceeded by 1 or 2 kilometers, but it is not firing off the alarm at all times like some of the other cars do. And that's because Toyota has put the time and effort into calibrating it properly. And while the others might be ticking boxes, Toyota is ticking the boxes, but also delivering the right product that Australian customers deserve in their safety tech. So it's really, really good. And you can see some established car makers are really making an effort to show that they put the effort in the engineering and the software and all this kind of stuff. And that's their point of difference from the cheaper new rivals emerging on the market, is that this has been thought out in every single way. One of the things that makes this also a pretty nice thing to drive is that it's a relatively comfortable car. Like, it soaks up all the bumps and lumps along the way. And look, it can get a little bit unsettled over smaller sharp bumps where it can kind of skirt around a little bit, but it's also super quiet. And that's because, one, it's a hybrid, but there's also a decent amount of sound insulation here. So you're not hearing the roar of the tires all the time. You're not hearing the engine unless you really have to accelerate quickly. And then, you know, it barks at you a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's really nice and comfortable and refined. It's just not a lot wrong with this, really. Now, one of the things I dislike about this car is the price. So this Camry Hybrid SL costs about $60,000 on the road. And that's a $12,000 jump from the grade just below it. So that's a huge amount of money for a few things like a nice stereo and faux leather seats. So you either get something with everything or something with not a lot. And that's a bit of a problem when you're shopping for a family car because you want to find the middle ground.
Camry isn't likely to stand out in the crowd. It features Toyota's new hammerhead design, which means it has this pinched front end, larger lower grille, and swoopy headlights. It's a step in the right direction compared to older Camrys, but still isn't as pleasing on the eyes as some sedans. This SL gets 18-inch alloy wheels with contrast dark finish and big Camry lettering on the rear, which is the fashion of the time. The Camry's a big rig too, bigger than you might think at close to 5 meters long, and that's substantially longer than a RAV4. So, if tight parking spaces are common, or you live in a built-up area and rely on street parking, then it may be an issue for you. Love them or hate them, SUVs are everywhere, and while a sedan is a joy to drive compared to an SUV, it is compromised in other areas. Because you're riding so low, your vision will be constantly blocked by utes and SUVs. And the Camry's low ride height and long bonnet means you need to be careful on steep driveways or large speed humps, as it can scrape, which is rarely an issue for an SUV. The boot is large, but it's oddly shaped compared to an SUV, and the Camrys only come with a temporary spare tyre. That's much better than a tyre inflator kit, as I found out firsthand, but a step down from the real deal full-size spare.
The Toyota Camry Hybrid might be the perfect family car for you. It's fuel efficient, it's safe, it's packed full of gear, and it's really cheap to own. There's not a lot wrong with this thing. It won't turn too many heads, but really, it's the ideal family car if you ask me.